Now, the Coalition of Domestic Observers, CODEO, says there's an urgent need for the Electoral Commission, stakeholders, including political parties and civil society organizations, to meet and fashion out a way to address the ensuing controversy over the EC's proposed electoral reforms. CODEO said the move has become necessary following the rising tension between the EC and some opposition political parties. There have been some brouhaha over the EC's decision to compile a new voters register as well as upgrade its election management system. The new voters register will cost some 390 million cedis, approved by Parliament weeks ago for that and other purposes. But a number of stakeholders, including some opposition parties and civil society organizations, have kicked against the EC's intention, urging it to at least consider it after the 2020 polls. Coordinator of CODEO, Albert Ahin, joins me via phone now. Good morning to you, sir. Thank you so much for your time, if you can hear me.
Yeah, good morning, and good morning to your listeners, except that you should raise up your voice a little bit for me.
Great.
I'm not hearing you well.
Okay, great. I hope that is clearer now.
It's clear.
Okay,
yeah.
Great. So when you call for an urgent IPAC meeting, when exactly would you propose that this comes off? And I'm wondering, the EC's position has been made even clearer now. They want to compile a new register, and that's what it is. What else could be done?
Yes. This morning I heard the EC has a timetable, and they were looking at the fact that between, I think, April and May, they would want to start with the registration. That notwithstanding, the CODEO is that with all the brouhaha and the noise and whatever going on, there should be some kind of an amicable solution found to this impasse. The CODEO has diligently, assembled, and we have reviewed all the relevant and available information with regards to this context. And we are seeing that we are agreeing to the eminent people that there should be an expanded inter-party advisory committee meeting to resolve this issue. We are saying this because, judging from past experiences, IPAC has been able to meet and resolve a lot of issues. And that IPAC has operated for about a decade now. I think the same IPAC now should be given the chance, together with the mentors, the eminent people, so we'll be able to resolve this issue. We are saying this because taking stance or taking sides on to whether the EC should do it or not will solve the problem.
Oh, I'm afraid it looks like we've lost Mr. Albert Ahin on the line, but we're going to raise him back on the telephone line so I can put some more questions to him. He talks about an amicable solution, and I wonder what a possible amicable solution could be. But Sheikh Arabaya Shaibu, who's also a member of CODEO, says the organization is worried about the lack of consensus on the matter.
Concern about the temperature of the political temperature of the country and how it is rising. We have taken note of the divergence of opinion, even among the political parties. From the IPAC point of view, a section is supporting the compilation of the new voters register. A section is also opposing it. What it means to us is that even at IPAC level, there's no consensus and agreement among the political parties who have direct interest in our electoral process. And so therefore, then it leaves the EC now probably as a referee to really look forward and see what it has to do. So we associate ourselves as a body with the suggestion of the Committee of Eminent Persons of the EC to extend, probably the consultations must go on, regardless wherever we have reached. We also take note that there has been arguments, for and against the technical reasons to justify the compilation of the new voters register, and even the technical reasons for which we need to overhaul the whole the biometric voter management systems of the electoral commission. These are facts that must be put together, and then the verification of those facts for us is something which is important. But for us also, even in the midst of the suggestion to do consultation, we also want to do that in the context of the respect for the Electoral Commission's independence to carry out its mandate. We also think that even though the Electoral Commission is independent, there are some administrative issues that are not necessarily matters of law, and so therefore they can be subjected to some consultations that will lead, to the resolution of the issues that have been raised.
And to the phone lines, we've got Mr. Albert Ahen joining us back. Mr. Ahen, apologies, I lost you there. But the Electoral Commission has a position, so they're not asking for people to make inputs. They have said that they're going for a new register and they are informing stakeholders. That's their position. What could change?
Okay. Thank you very much. The EC has taken a position. But let me ask you, how about if this position the EC has taken ends up in a brouhaha over the action that they have taken? You see, IPAC has operated for about a decade in this country. People from other countries have been coming to Ghana to learn about IPAC. So IPAC, as the eminent people have suggested, should be expanded according to what CODEO is saying, so we can sit down and look at all the arguments for and against. We are saying this because we are also aware of the fact that the EC's mandate should be supreme. The EC has a mandate, we know. But you see, the EC cannot operate in a vacuum. The EC works with political parties. The EC has stakeholders, and therefore there should always be that partnership. But that relationship should be symbiotic. Okay? Because without the political party, without the populists, there will be no EC. So what we are saying is that, yes, the EC has a mandate, but let us clear the ground. Let us make sure that we go into the registration without any problems. And looking at what the EC has said about the infrastructure, we are saying that if you go on the internet, the prices are there. If the prices are high, people will know. If the prices are too low, we will know. We can also, and I think the EC was even referring to the fact that they have consulted some countries that have used those machines and they know how it works. You see, so let us try and dialogue. And we are also saying that from experience, we have realized that, and in fact, personally, I have realized that anytime there's a change of government, whoever is in power apparently is always with the EC. Come the change, whoever goes to opposition is fighting the EC.
Why do you think that is so? Because you've been at the EC before. Why is that so?
Yes, and that is why we are saying that it must change. Why is it so? And we are saying that committee meeting about the mistrust, about the lack of transparency or whatever, that they are accusing the EC of, a solution should be found to this. In fact, that is the problem that is really disturbing the activities of elections in this country.
Doesn't that, Mr. Ahen, come back to the way, the fact that the commissioner is appointed by the president? I mean, we would always have issues of mistrust.
Yes, but we cannot continue with the mistrust because this is what is brewing the trouble. There should be a way of believing what the EC does. There should be a way that a political party can just lay back and say that, no, I trust what is happening. In some advanced countries, some even don't have agents at the polling stations. Why is it so? They didn't send agents because they trust that the commission will be doing a good job.
So,
why is it that we don't have this kind of thing in our country?
Ms. Ahin, on the issue of whether or not, well, the EC thinks that we need a new register, you could speak in your personal capacity. Do we need a new register or not?
In my personal capacity, I think that with time, the register is dirty or has been made dirty. The register has been made dirty. This is not CODEO's view. This is my personal view. The register has been made dirty, and the contribution of making it dirty has been made by political parties and the citizenry. And ask me why. Because when we are called upon to help in clean the register, we decline. When our people die, we don't remove the names from the register. We collaborate in bringing kids to be put on the register. We encourage to bring foreigners to be registered. You see, so over time, we have had this debt being piled and piled and piled. The debt, just tell the EC that your relative is dead, and that has been a problem for this country. You see, so we have a situation where every other year we add on to the debt. We add on to the debt. But if there should be a new register, yes, we might need it, but let us do it by all parties coming on board, agreeing to the principles, agreeing to whatever decision they want to take to do it. It's not that, okay, don't do it, I'll do it. Then you go and do it, and then a fight breaks up, and then the whole country is set in flames. This is what CODEO is trying to avoid.
So you think we need a new register, but we need all stakeholders to agree?
Yes.
Well, can we get everybody, can we realistically get everybody to agree?
If we don't agree, let us remember that the EC has a mandate. I am saying that there should be an attempt, CODEO is saying there should be an attempt to resolve this impasse. If it doesn't get resolved, remember I told you from the onset that the EC has a mandate. And let us respect that mandate if it happens to be so. Okay?
Before you go, Mr. Ahin, I want to ask in terms of those who are opposed to a new register. They're petitioning some very important people in the country. What do you think the importance of that would be to this call that you're making?
The importance is that the call will bring to bear, the call will bring on the table the issues that are being contested. People are saying that the money should have been used to do some other things for this country. Some are saying that it's not necessary. In fact, even CODEO is saying this 2-year cycle of always getting the register changed should be stopped. And my advisory board is saying that because every time we go to do a new register, the very things that plagued the old one are not changed. We allow people to go and register when they are young. You see, so if the EC should be going to do a new one, then there should be put in place some measures to prevent the underage from registering, to prevent the foreigners from registering, and to make sure that there's a good process of cleaning it after that. You see? So this discussion, I believe, should center on especially removing the mistrust. All this is bordering on mistrust.
One more thing, Mr. Ahin. There's also the call for us to use the national ID. I'm not sure I've heard your take on that.
Yes, I know, and I think CODEO is also saying that, even though it's not in the statement, ultimately the aim is to use the national ID to prepare the voters register, which is a very laudable idea. It's a very laudable idea. But from what I've been hearing from the EC, first of all, there's this problem of who mans the database, who controls it. The EC, for example, would want to control its database. Okay. Now, the national ID is going on, it has not been completed. But I don't think that we can wait for them to finish because there are a whole lot of issues with the national ID. I, for one, have not been registered because I didn't have opportunity, and many others.
But we've been given several assurances that if we're really going to be depending on that data, it could be ready before the election.
So I don't share in that view. I don't share in that way because in the first place, they don't even have the polling station codes in it.
Isn't that an issue that could easily be resolved if the two institutions get talking?
Well, it could be easily said that it can be done, but my dear, with the fact that they have not even completed what they are doing right now, and there are a lot of many people who have not been put on the roll. They will have to go around to maybe, try to get people on board again, maybe a day or 2 or 3 in every region. Maybe everybody has done it. It will take time. Sincerely speaking, if we want to use the national ID, it should be in the next election and not this particular one.
Ms. Ahin,
so that we'll be strong enough to go and fix it properly.
Those who are also opposed also talk about timing. Is that an issue for you? January is gone already.
No, timing cannot be an issue if the EC is doing its work according to the timetable they have. I have not seen it, but they claim that by April, May, they should have finished, and so by June, the register should be ready. And remember, this is not the first time registration has taken place in an election year. If you have the good machinery and you have good strategy to capture the data, you should be able to finish. And yesterday, for example, I heard the IT consultant of the EC saying that people will be asked to go to the registration centers with their old ID cards, which already has information on it already. So it means the EC will not even waste time. They will just pick that quickly. And the only thing that concerns them most is the picture and then the facial recognition thing that they want to bring in.
But which information? We're also saying that a lot of dead people, the people underage who registered. We have issues with the mode of registration at the time. We're doubting. So if we're using the same ID cards to make it easier this time, are we just not repeating the things that we've repeated in the past? What will be different?
No, because there are rules and regulations governing the conduct. If they are strictly enforced, nothing of that nature will happen. Goes to the polling station with my ID card, with my picture. I have my mother's, whoever's name is there. My polling station number is there, and so it is already in the database. If you are dead, you will not be there because your name will not be. You will not even hold a card. Nobody, will see.
So how do we classify that? Is it the making of a fresh register then, or we're cleaning it?
We are making a fresh register. Those who are dead cannot go there with their cards. I hope you get this. Those who are dead cannot go there with their cards. If you are a minor and you are still a minor, you go there, you will not be allowed because they will say that you are a minor. If it's really, the people are being vigilant. You see, so going there with the card does not mean that we are going to repeat those mistakes of the past. No.
So just real quick, how soon should this IPAC meeting come off?
In fact, I'm not speaking for CODEO because we have not set the time, but personally, I believe by next week, this meeting should be convened. We are this is Wednesday, in the middle of the week. Early next week, this meeting ought to be convened for us to meet, resolve the issue, and then remove this mistrust, especially the mistrust. We should bring it to the table. What is there that parties in opposition are always against the EC, parties in power are for the EC? That is the problem. That should be resolved.
I thank you very much for your time. Mr. Albert Ahin is coordinator of CODEO. Now, earlier, MP for Busa South, Clemens IPAC, said the opposition NDC is resolute in its demand for the EC to back down on its agenda.
The opposition is resolute. We still don't believe that there's the need to compile a new register on the basis of the inability of the EC, as far as we are concerned, to demonstrate to us beyond reasonable doubt that the current equipment and the current register is not fit for purpose. I mean, the same EC boss, when she appeared before the parliamentary committee, made a comment emphatically indicating that the register was good enough. We have also raised the issue of time between now and December 7th, whether or not this is the time for us to be going out to compile a totally new register. When this register, we believe, as many others do, can be used for this particular exercised.
Right.
And I have even added the issue of not even knowing our voting population, which I think presents us with a challenge. You have mentioned the issue of the NIA, good idea, fantastic idea, but at this current stage, it is not, I think, good enough to be able to resolve this particular problem. All of these things can happen after 2020.
Right.
We have not said that we don't require a new register. We are saying the timing,
right,
the context, and the circumstances do not make that the best option in as far as our preparations towards the 2020 election are concerned.
Well, the Let My Vote Count Alliance is scheduled to speak on the new voters register in Kumasi shortly. We'll bring you details in subsequent bulletins when it happens.